The day I found out, my whole body went numb. 6 years. 6 years of my life. Every late night, every missed birthday, every dollar I ever saved. Gone. And the man who took it all? He was sitting in my office, in my chair, signing my name on documents I'd never seen. Did he really think I wouldn't find out? By the end of the story, Ryan lost his luxury apartment, his reputation, and his freedom. And I watched every single second of it. But to understand how I got there, you need to know where it all started. Transferred to an account I didn't recognize. I called Ryan immediately. He laughed it off. "Relax, Jake, it's a vendor thing. I'll explain later." Later never came. So I started digging. And the more I dug, the sicker I felt. It wasn't just $47,000. Over 18 months, Ryan had been quietly moving money. Small amounts at first, $5,000 here, $8,000 there, then bigger, $30,000, $60,000. All going to the same shell account, an LLC I'd never heard of, registered in Nevada, under Ryan's mother's name. I felt the room spin. I printed everything, every transaction, every transfer date, every amount. I sat in my car in the parking garage for 45 minutes, just staring at those papers. But here's what really broke something inside me. When I got back to the office that afternoon, I overheard Ryan on the phone in the conference room. The door was cracked open, and I heard him say, and I will never forget this, "Don't worry. Jake doesn't check the books. He never has. He trusts me." He was laughing about how much I trusted him, laughing about the man who had given him everything. I stepped away from that door, and I made a decision right there in that hallway. I wasn't going to confront him, not yet, because I needed him to keep thinking that I was still that same naive guy who never checked the books. But while he was laughing, I was already building something he'd never see coming. And then it got worse. So much worse. 2 weeks later, I got a certified letter from a law firm in Chicago. I opened it, hands shaking. And inside was a legal notice of a business acquisition. Someone had made an offer to buy our company for $1.4 million. And Ryan had already signed. Using a clause buried on page 41 of our original partnership agreement, a clause I'd never read carefully enough. It gave either partner the right to accept an acquisition offer with 30 days' notice if the other partner was deemed non-responsive to company communications. Non-responsive. I hadn't been non-responsive. But Ryan had been documenting emails he'd sent me at 3 a.m., texts to a number I didn't recognize, fake paper trail, built over 6 months. Did you hear that? He had been planning this for 6 months. While I was working, while I was building, while I was trusting him, he was constructing a legal trap around me. The buyer? A real estate company out of Phoenix, owned by Ryan's college roommate. The $1.4 million was going entirely to Ryan. My cut? 0. Because buried in that same clause was a line that said a non-responsive partner forfeits their acquisition share. I was losing my company, my 6 years, my $2 million business, for absolutely nothing. I sat in my car outside my apartment and I cried. I'm not ashamed to say it. I cried. Because this wasn't just about money anymore. This was my best friend. This was my brother. and he had looked me in the eye every single day and smiled while he burned everything down. But here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. When you've got nothing left to lose, you've got nothing holding you back either. I wiped my face, I picked up my phone, and I made a call that would change everything. The first call I made was to a forensic accountant named David, a friend of a friend in Dallas. I drove down that weekend and laid everything out, every transfer, every date, every shell company. David looked at it all for about 20 minutes, then looked up at me and said, "Jake, this isn't just breach of contract. This is fraud. Federal level." I felt something shift inside my chest. Not anger anymore. Clarity. Cold, quiet, absolute clarity. Over the next 3 weeks, I built my case piece by piece. David traced every dollar Ryan had moved, all the way back to the original source. $186,000, stolen over 22 months. We documented everything. Then I hired an attorney, Lauren, one of the best business litigation lawyers in Colorado. She reviewed the partnership agreement in one afternoon, and she found something Ryan had missed. Page 63, Section 12, Paragraph C. The same communication clause Ryan had used against me had a counter provision. If evidence of financial misconduct by one partner existed, the clause was void, completely unenforceable. Ryan's entire legal trap collapsed on itself. Lauren filed an emergency injunction that Friday, freezing the acquisition, freezing Ryan's accounts, freezing everything. And Ryan had no idea. Not yet, because I hadn't spoken a single word to him about any of this. Every morning that week, I walked into the office. I smiled. I made coffee. I talked about upcoming client meetings. Ryan thought it was already over. He thought he'd already won. He was planning his celebration dinner while I was loading the gun, and they had absolutely no idea what was coming. It happened on a Wednesday. Ryan called a meeting, all 14 employees in the conference room. He was going to announce the acquisition, his acquisition. He had champagne, actual champagne, waiting in the fridge. I let him start. I sat there, and I let him smile and talk and congratulate himself for about 4 minutes. Then the door opened. Lauren walked in. David walked in. And 2 federal investigators from the Denver field office walked in behind them. Ryan's face. I will remember that face for the rest of my life. Lauren placed the injunction on the table in front of him. David placed the financial audit, 186 pages, right next to it. The federal investigator placed his badge on the table and said, "Ryan, we need you to come with us." Ryan looked at me, and for the first time in 6 years, he had absolutely nothing to say. "Jake, come on, man. We can talk about this." I stood up. I looked him dead in the eyes, and I said, "You told someone I never checked the books. You were wrong." He was escorted out of my building, out of my conference room, past my 14 employees who watched in absolute silence. The acquisition was immediately voided. Ryan's shell company was seized. Every dollar he'd stolen flagged for recovery. But it didn't stop there. Lauren filed a civil suit the same afternoon. Breach of fiduciary duty, fraud, theft by deception. The buyer in Phoenix, Ryan's college roommate, turned out he knew about the fraud. He got pulled into it too, both of them facing federal charges. Ryan's lawyer tried to negotiate. offered to return the money in exchange for dropping the criminal complaint. Lauren looked at me. I shook my head. All the way, or not at all. Ryan took a plea deal 4 months later. 3 years probation, full restitution, every single dollar. His business license permanently revoked in Colorado. The company? Still mine. Completely mine. I bought out his remaining share for $1 as part of the settlement. $1 for the man who tried to take everything from me. Our company hit $3 million in revenue the following year. I hired 2 new partners, people I vetted for 6 months before I trusted them with anything. But here's what I think about when I'm quiet. The thing that stays with me. It's not the money. It's not the victory. It's that moment in that hallway when I heard him laughing. Because that moment was the moment I decided I would never again be too busy building to pay attention. Some people will smile at you every day and burn your world down every night. The only protection you have is paying attention. Ryan thought my trust was my weakness. Turns out, it was his. If this story hit differently for you,
If you've ever been betrayed by someone you built with, you're not alone. Hit subscribe, because on this channel, the people who get burned always get the last word. And we're just getting started.